Mick Mooney, CEO of ACIA Leasing. You are a small lessor compared to AirCap, especially. All of a sudden, you are making all the headlines with a request for proposal for 30 more aircraft. Now the deal with Best Fly, the letter of intent with Universal Hydrogen. What's going on with ACIA Aero Leasing? Why all of a sudden are you growing?
So our shareholders took a decision about 3 years ago that they wanted to focus on growing the leasing business. So like every other leasing business, they set up a business in Dublin and built a team around that business. And we're now looking to implement a strategy that we had started out 2 years ago pre-COVID, but only a year ago really made sense to start. So like everybody, we kind of paused during 2020, looked to see what way things were going to go. And then following on from that, realized that our portfolio was actually different than a lot of other lessors. We don't focus on scheduled airline operations. We have a blended portfolio between long-term charter and ACMI customers, the likes of Best Fly. That's the core of our business, and that's really what kept us going through COVID. That and our very strong freight customers as well. So we have aircraft on lease to the likes of DHL and other large freight operators globally too. So the blend of those two gave us kind of the strength and the underground cash flows to allow us to take advantage of a lot of the opportunities that are out there in the market today. There's a lot of aircraft coming available, but there's also a lot of customers like Best Fly, like Salenta, like some of our other long-term customers who are coming to us saying they need more aircraft because scheduled passenger operations have reduced because of the pandemic. There's more of a need for them. So they're also snapping up the opportunities, and we want to grow with them. So it's really partnering with our existing customers to help them grow.
And where do you think the market is for new customers? Are they with the bigger airlines or the smaller ones?
So it's dual track. So we are seeing opportunities to do more in the schedule space. It's not core to what we do, or it hasn't been core to what we do. But given the opportunities that are out there today, we are looking to explore, getting into some of those bigger airlines where the opportunities make sense. We're not going to chase down RFPs to the bottom. We have a certain return profile that we like to hit, and there's certain dynamics of a deal that need to happen for that. I think the market today presents a lot of those opportunities. So there's a lot of aircraft that are available, and there's a lot of customers who are now gearing up for 2022 and 2022 and beyond, and they're looking to get their aircraft in place. So given that we've got the capital behind us, we're going to start taking advantage of those opportunities.
Yeah, and that's why you did your request for proposal for 30. Where do you source these aircraft? Where do you find them?
Well, that's why we went out for RFP, right? So we want the market to come to us, and you may call it a lazy approach, but it's really we want to take the best from what's out there in the market. We saw another leasing company do it quite successfully probably about 12 months ago, and we said we'd replicate it. So it's not something that we came up with. We're just copying what someone else did quite successfully. Yeah. So the 30 aircraft RFP is important for us. The majority of it is for known customer needs, either throughout 2022 or into 2023. A lot of it's going to be focused on ATR and ATR conversions. So we've got 10 or 11 ATR 72 freighters today. Our intention is that by the end of 2022, that's at least 15 or 16. And then by the end of 2023, it's up into the 20s. So that's going to be a big focus of our growth, and that's going to be a big focus of the 30 aircraft. Beside that, then, we are seeing a lot more of opportunities in this crossover space. So our existing customers are typically operators of smaller regional aircraft, turboprops, 72s, 42s, and they have seen the opportunity to expand into larger aircraft types to meet their customers' demands. So Best Fly, again, being a perfect example of that. So we want.
That's why you want the E1.
Exactly right. So we want to grow with our customers and meet their needs as opposed to us telling them what their needs are, right? So
and why the E190 and not the smaller or the bigger ones, or are you looking at both?
Well, we're looking at both, but I think for the E190 specifically, this is a request that came from Best Fly. So Best Fly came to us and said, "We want to grow. Here's our business case. Here's why. Can you support us?" And we did. So for us, moving into the crossover space, it was always going to happen at some point in time. We were looking for the right opportunity to do it. And to back an operator like Best Fly is the right opportunity for us to do it.
And do you plan to buy brand new aircraft as well?
It really depends on the opportunity. Like we don't, brand new aircraft, it's not what we've typically done. It generally doesn't lend itself to the profile of returns that our shareholders would want. But that's
You get more money from the second-hand market, just
You
like
do.
a second-hand car.
Yeah,
It's a little bit cheaper
you can
to
buy aircraft cheaper. You can generate higher lease rate factors. The debt profile is pretty similar. So yeah, you can definitely do better with used aircraft if you know how to do it properly.
Yeah.
So, but it's also the type of operators that we've typically supported. New aircraft and the lease rates that go around new aircraft just wouldn't be sustainable for a lot of them, and it also wouldn't make sense for the type of business model that they have. So, for us, the used market is definitely more advantageous, but I wouldn't rule out going for new aircraft. I think there might be opportunities where we could look at it, but they would be case by case.
Yeah. And where do you see ACIA go in, let's say, 10 years? Then you have hydrogen aircraft and you have a bigger fleet.
We do.
Do you have a long-term strategy that goes that far, or are you looking more short-term?
It's not 10 years out. We typically look at 3 to 5 year plans. Much more executable because who knows what's going to happen in the next 10
Another
years.
pandemic or something like that.
Exactly, right. And also in the next 10 years, we will start to see developing technologies come in. So, there will be greenfield designs, or we hope there will be greenfield designs over and above retrofit opportunities that we have for these aircraft. And if that's the case, you don't want to be picking up the last off the line of the older aircraft types. So we need to be careful as to where we go. But I think it'll be a lot more of the same. We definitely want to be a bigger lessor. Do we want to be a 500 aircraft lessor? No, that's not our game. But I think we can certainly get into the mid hundreds and have a very nice sized fleet. That's very manageable, but again, diversified into our core customer base. Scheduled or not scheduled, but the charter, long-term ACMI, freighter and cargo, and then supporting and gradually growing into that schedule space where the opportunities make sense.
Yeah, and you are now at 50. You want or 50, 60.
We're at
you
56
want to,
aircraft.
Yeah, 50, and you want to go to 19.
Yeah, so by the end of 2022, if everything goes according to plan, and rarely things go according to plan, but if everything did go according to plan, we would want to be at least committed to that number of aircraft. So our plan is we grew by 10 aircraft this year, which for us is quite a significant growth. So we want to replicate that kind of 20%, 25% compounded growth every year for the next 3 to 5 years. So that's the target that we've set ourselves.
And the mid 100s, when is that on the horizon? Around 2025?
It could be sooner than that. But it all depends on the opportunities. We have patient capital, and our shareholders only do deals when they make sense. If the deals don't make sense, we're not going to do them.